to see you.
Hello there, everyone. So I wanted to do a little bit of an explanation on running pipes when they're paired with the or transformed by EOS chromes, since these are some of the most underrated, underused, under obtained chromes in the game because they don't lend themselves to necessarily um, uh, typically one-shot builds because they don't scale that high in the one-shot arena. However, if you are a super fan of the executioner and the attack pattern of it, this might be the chrome for you. As you can see, I don't have one with an EOS chrome on it, but I'm working on getting more items. As you can see, we're kind of out of chromes here for the moment, and we don't have any gifts and different things to give to the people. So I need to get yellow pennants to give to EO, as they give 5 points each. So I need to get a whole bunch more EOS chromes so I can start building out for EOS chromes. And I think the next when we start the road to 100 for 27 stars, we'll probably be running pipes most of the way. So it'll be kind of a pipe run, but it'll be an augmented, crazy, stupid pipe run. So you'll kind of get a taste and a flavor here of what we can do with a pipe, specifically low damage weapons. Happily, we were given one in the DLC 3 in the Brionac. We have one already in the Bardache, as this is obtained. The Bardache gifts, straight up level 0. This is obtained in the Town of Sacrifice in one of the chests before one of the mini bosses. So you can get this one free and clear in the regular game. And we are going to be running the Daybreak Thunderfang in a whole bunch of varieties here. But if you don't have the DLCs, then you can run a variant of the Noble Silver here to go for extreme light scaling, which is going to be based off of Bridge to Glory. And I did a video with the killing the executioner with the pipe. Now that may not look like anything because people have killed bosses in the past with pipes, but the pipe can do upwards of 25,000 in one strike, and it's just absolutely bonkers how high the pipe can go. So you see here on the card, it starts at a base of 90, whereas if you have a different chrome on it, it does various amounts of different damage. Now the specific one here that you want to look at is scaling. You want that to be as absolutely low as possible on the item of choice that you're looking for. So for the Brionac, we have a scaling of 0. And for the Bardache gifts, we have a scaling of 0. So you want that to be as low as possible. Now you can see on, let me see if I switch to Heimdall here, and we switch to the Dex Sword. You see it all the gift, sorry, the EOS Chrome removes all the scaling and all the stat scaling off of the weapon altogether, and it increases the base damage of the weapon. Now this is important because we get scaling later on, but you want the base to be as high possible, and the scaling to be gone. So something like the this guy, the Judgment Edge, this would be a fairly okay candidate later on. So we'll get to all that in the regular Road to 100. But you remember back in the Bridge to Glory discussion, we were talking about weapons having a bridge factor. Well, this is where this comes in extremely vital into that equation that we were running before in the Bridge to Glory discussion. And you can see here that since we have a scaling of 0, I mentioned in that video that we would want that bridge factor to go to 0, as we were getting around a 2 or a 1.75 something like that. Well, this takes our bridge factor from 2.2 all the way down to near zero. So it takes it very, very low. So I was on the right track. I don't think I got the equation exactly correct, as there's a lot of scaling issues that come in. I would love to see the actual equation from Bandai, but I don't believe we'll ever see that. But I think I got pretty close. But if anybody has any comments on that, to actually clarify that equation, then I'm all ears. As this is really astounding how what you can do here with the EOS chromes. So let's go ahead and attack this guy. So in almost an entire bar of stamina, we did 579 damage. And if we go for all our buffs here, let's attack him again. Let's get down to about the same amount of stamina. So that was about a 4 times increase in damage. So that's not too bad. But what we're going to be going here is so the underlying principle of the EOS Chrome is that whatever weapon damage increase or veil drain increase stat multiplier that you have, this is where knowing the multipliers actually comes in really, really handy. It adds 50% of that damage increase. So typically adrenaline is a 10% increase. Well, now it's a 15% increase for the pipe, and for anything that has a EOS Chrome attached to it. So for overdrive, it's typically a 25% increase, so now it's a 37.5% increase. For the elements, there's no change except for on the charge attacks from the weapons themselves, from the DLC weapons, as they give stacks of elemental damage to the weapon, and they increase about half to 1%, a half a percent to 1% increase on the weapon damage, which is buffed significantly throughout the rest of it here. So this is a great way to get a little bit more damage out of that as well. So it pairs extremely well with Survival Instinct. So let's go for just a regular pipe here. We'll go for the Devour, and we'll go down to half health. Okay, and one more. And I hope you took a screenshot because I don't remember the values. So here it just increases 250 damage to the to each of the value to the scaling and to the physical, which remember, physical damage is base plus scaling. So since the base is only 48, it adds the 250 from Survival Instinct to the scaling. So if we go back to here, you'll notice that all of a sudden scaling has shown up, and before we were at 90/90 and 0 scaling, and now it adds the 250 to scaling, but then because it's a EOS Chrome, it adds 50% of the 250, so it adds 375. So 250 plus 125 gives you your 375 scaling, and now our pipe is doing 465 damage instead of 90. So it's that already. So let's see here, 465. You can't do these videos without a calculator, so that's a 5.2 times multiplier to the pipe damage. So that amount of multiplier is just absolutely crazy. Now it also pairs with the masteries, as it typically the masteries are 20%, so now they are 30% increased multipliers, and these are multiplicative now, as this is additive. Survival Instinct is additive, remember, and One-Handed Sword Mastery is multiplicative, and it does not affect also Swift Destruction. So Swift Destruction, since it doesn't show up on the card to show a damage increase, it's not affected since it's in the background. But it's still a 10% increase here for the 10% multiplicative for the normal mobility, and if we apply our mobility enhancer, we'll get the 20% multiplicative as well. Now strength and dex up, that's simply to go for applying adrenaline and equipping the Daybreak Thunderfang. It has nothing to do with actually increasing any of the damage. Here, as you can see from here, if we go to any other gift here, passive gift, you can see the weapon damage for our either one is not changing at all. Okay, so now that we have these all set up, let's see how much damage we do. Let's get down to here. So 4,000, so now that was doubled from the 2,000 that we just did previously. So that's really good. So now let's take it all away and let's see where we go. And remember, this guy is weak to blood damage, so we will go for blood, and we'll go for an accelerator. And let's go ahead and attack him now. And we'll get down to here. So that's 25,000 in the same amount. So we went from 4,000 to 25,000. So that's a 6 times multiplier again. And remember, the first time we did 575, so we're up to a 500 times multiplier. 500 times the increased damage. Not a 500%, 500 times, which is 50,000% increase. Can you, like, are you hearing this? Oh my goodness. So yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy. Oh, sorry. No, I'm getting my zeros mixed up because I'm getting out of hand here. It's a 50 times multiplier, so minus a 0. It's a 50 times multiplier, so it means it's a 5,000% increase. Now, so now that 5,000%, we can increase it more by utilizing a gift that does a 1 strike. So something like Shadow Assault here. It will allow us to see what else we can do with this, and we'll see how much damage we can get out. And remember, Shadow Assault is simply a 1 strike, so there's 10,000 damage, and that's only costing us 4 Ichor, and it has an extremely quick cooldown of 6 seconds. But we can take that a bit further with Severing Abyss, and we can do some crazy damage here. Okay, and we'll go for a gift accelerator, as that's really critical to making this acceptable. So 23,000 in 1 strike, and since all our gifts are still active, we can continue to go for more damage. So there's 42,000 there, plus the 23,000, so it's like almost damage cap. And this is not with a friend. We don't have Louis or Jack here, as I tend to think that Louis will be the better one to go for in the long run, since he grants an additional stack of overdrive, and he has Reckless Abandon, which was increasing our damage by 50% before, so now it'll be 75%. And Jack was Fatal Surge, so he was 100%, so he would go to 150% increase. But we will have the stack of overdrive multiplying, so that's a 37.5 times the 75%, which is 240% increase, as opposed to Jack's 200% increase that you would get. So I think Louis will be the better way to go in the long run. And if we go ahead and go for a Merciless Reaper as well, whoops, that's okay, I'm just pushing buttons now. Okay, and here we go. Now we can't go for a Blow of Madness, as that would be absolute madness, and we can go for a Mobility Enhancer as well to maximize our damage. So there's 32,000 on this guy. Oh, he hit us. And we can go for a bar of stamina here again. And there's 41,000 on yeah, so it can just get out of hand here really quick. Now this can also be done with the Brionic, as it pairs really well with where is it, Chariot Rush. Here we go. And if you're running the Brionic or the Bardiche gifts, you're gonna have to go for something like the Alleviated State. And let's go ahead and pick up Halberd Mastery. Okay. And this can also work with Severing Abyss. So we'll try Severing Abyss first. And remember, we can go for lightning damage on this as well if we absolutely need a little bit more damage. So there's 37,000 out of the Brianak, which is a monster of a kill, of a damage multiplier. And if we go for something like this, or Shadow Assault, or Savage Dive. Savage Dive is an excellent quick gift. However, the fact is you have 15-second cooldown, so it absolutely is kind of not worth it in the long run because you're going to be wanting to get gifts out quickly. Something like Circulating Pulse, something like Shadow Assault, something like Chariot Rush, as these have fairly short cooldowns attached to them. This one is a monster of a damage multiplier, but it has that 15-second cooldown, which is really painful. So okay, let's head on down to like the Den of the Dead or something, and let's bully Oliver a little bit with this. Now Oliver is weak to pierce lightning, fire, so we won't exactly be paired up exactly for him, but that's okay. And we'll go for Shadow Assault for this, and we'll go for the pipe, just to see here how the pipe handles. And we're going for Louis, and we can go for maximum intensified light gifting here at 1642. So that is why we were trying to get as high light damage as possible to pair with Bridge to Glory, to increase this paired up with Survival Instinct and Blow of Madness. Like, it's just crazy. So like I said, he's weak to fire and lightning, so we'll go for fire, and we'll get the lightning 5% off of the Brianak, and we'll go for fire and lightning, and we'll go for a gift accelerator and a mobility enhancer. Okay, and then we'll go for this here. Now, the gifts of choice that you're going to want to ideally look for, or the blood codes of choice, are something like Ishtar, since you can get offensive order. This will be the run for the straight up running in the Road to 100, but Ishtar is a good one. Cert is a kind of good one. So there's a couple out there. There's not too many, but there's definitely a couple that are worth looking into. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can bully Oliver here a little bit, and let's go. Okay, and let's go for this. Now that only gives us 30 seconds here. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch, and we have one-handed mastery and everything going. Good. And let's go ahead and heal once, as we're going to need a little bit of Ichor for Shadow Assault. And our lightning damage is almost going to run out, but that's okay. It's only 5%, so take it for what it is. Okay, here we go. And our fire damage down there is going to run out as well, but we'll get it back during the fight. Okay, now remember that, oh, we got flattened. Now remember that he takes, oh, we're back up somehow. Now he takes, he's strong to crush, but he takes pierce damage. So that's why this isn't doing tons of damage, but it's doing enough that you can get the idea. Okay, and we're out of stamina. Now that is the issue with this, is that you need lots of stamina. Okay, let's go for a Shadow Assault. And Bridge to Glory is almost over. And we're out of stamina all the time. Now as soon as Bridge to Glory is over, we are going to be in a hard way. So yeah, it's not the most glorious thing, but he is weak to Pierce. So let's go ahead and see what a pierce. This has slash and pierce, and the Bardache gift is just slash. So we're gonna go for the Brionic next, and we're gonna go for this Halberd Mastery, and we will go for Chariot Rush, and all this should be the same. But we have to go for in order to get our 20% out of Swift Destruction, we have to go for the Daybreak Thunderfang Alleviated, so it's a little bit less on the light gifting, but it should still do the trick. Okay, so this will be a tiny bit different as Oliver will take extra damage from our piercing abilities here as well. So pairing up with Louis, so the problem is we got hit also, so that was a no-no, as that reduced a ton of damage out of us. So we have to remember this time to not get hit, as is the way in all of the runs with me. Okay. Good. Okay, and let's go ahead and heal once, and go for lightning damage. This. Okay, and we'll go back to Chariot Rush. Okay, and we'll do all the things here. Okay, and here we go. Now it's fine that so there we got him up there pretty high. Whoops. But you can see that our damage output is much quicker and much faster when we're running with Chariot Rush. Now, because we run slash and pierce, we do a lot more damage to him. Now, if we run in and try for the one shot on Severing Abyss, we'll see how much damage we can get out of this. Now, remember, our base damage here is at 306, so it's pretty horrible. So that's why this is so amazing, is that you can take something that has such low damage like this and turn it into something really amazing. Okay, so let's go for Louis. Okay, and we'll go ahead and heal. So you can try doing all of this, on different weapons and everything, but I would advise go for the lowest damage items you can find. Where's Severing Abyss? Okay, as that will yield the highest damage results. Okay, and let's go. Okay, let's go for Severing Abyss. So that was pretty good, but remember that was slash damage. So let's go in here. Okay, let's go for lightning, and we'll go in for another assault here. Oops. Okay, so I mean it's just crazy though. I mean, I know it is Oliver, but that's crazy that you can take something that has 300 damage and you can give it a 10, a 50, almost 100 times multiplier. So this went from like 397 to like 30,000. So it's just pretty incredible. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Maybe you learned something about Bridge to Glory and how to take it further from what we learned last time, and also to pair it, not pair it like probably want a cracker, but pair it with the Eos Chromes from EO, as Bridge to Glory is from EO, the Eos Chromes are from EO, and Eos Blood Code just so happens to be set up in a great way to have a high mind scaling. As you can see here, we go up 108 in our light gifting, and it has a strength of B, so you can get adrenaline, and it has a lot of good things. So EOS could be also another great blood code to be doing some damage with. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the road to 100 later.